Hey everybody, it's TR. Today I'm going to tell you why I don't own a Gibson Les Paul Standard. Okay, well, they're expensive, I know. I've got a lot of guitars. I can afford one if I want one. I choose not to. Got to draw the line somewhere, right? Well, as you may or may not know, I have 5 Gibson guitars. They're all more bargain-based Gibson guitars. Let me list them for you. A Gibson SGJ. They only made them 2 years, 2013, 2014. Each year was a little different. Because of that, the stupid thing is actually worth a lot more money than I paid for it. But it was a entry-level model. I have a couple of specials. I have a Les Paul humbucker special, which is basically non-arch top, flat body, with mini trapezoid inlays on the fingerboard, no binding. Very nice. Got a belly cut in the back. I have a Les Paul Junior special, which has the full stop bar tailpiece bridge, just like all of mine have that, and 2 humbuckers. And it's got the flat slab body, no arch top. It's got the junior pick guard, binding on the neck with the nibs and the whole 9 yards. Very nice. I have a Les Paul Tribute, which has the arch top and looks just like a regular Les Paul. Might just be a smidgen thinner. No binding, but a nice full binding on the body because the maple cap is exposed around the outside. And then I have my 1992 Gibson Les Paul Studio with ebony fingerboard, gold hardware in mint pristine condition because it basically lives in the case. I don't know. I think I'm afraid to play it that I might hurt it. It's too pretty. So it is 33 years old and there's not a mark on it. That one, by the way, if you may or may not know, those are the years that are desirable, early 90s, especially 92 and 93 for the Les Paul Studios. Those things are going for significantly more than I paid for it as well. Okay, back to the point. Well, I have this. This was the original inspired by Gibson Epiphone 59 Les Paul, inspired by Gibson Custom Shop. Now the new ones that are out have some little extras. They have the Gibson headstock, they have a rosewood fingerboard, and they have real mother of pearl on them. Okay, this has burst buckers. Gibson, this is all Gibson electronics. It's got Mallory capacitor, CTS pot, switchcraft jack and switch, and Gibson burst bucker pickups. The new ones supposedly have the 490 R&T because they're more like the original PAF, but when this came out it had the burst buckers because they're more like the original PAF. That would be Gibson for you, right? So I don't know which one's more like the original PAF. Do I care? No. But I will tell you, they still have some of these out there. Comes with a case and everything, just like the new ones do. $850. The new ones, I think, are $11.99. They might be $13, but I think they're $1,200. $850. So what am I going to get? What am I going to get for my extra $350? Gibson shaped headstock, rosewood, and pearl. And pretty much it, although it is said that the flame tops on the newer ones are a little nicer too. Now I realize they have the inspired by Gibson Custom Shop 60s, and they have the customs, and there's a whole line, but this is the 59. So there's a long neck tenon, pick guard that is non-beveled, It's pretty much made to the specs. I've done one modification on it. I put a bone nut on it. The nuts that come on these are Graphtec. And you think, oh, it's a Tusk nut. No, it's a Graphtec nut. Tusk is a product made by Graphtec. It's a Tusk nut. It's their base bottom of line. So I changed it to improve the sound. No. I changed it because it wasn't cut quite the way I wanted it. And I've cut it a little bit too low on one of the strings. Did it still play fine? Yes. Bothered me. And I thought, you know, if I'm putting a new nut in this, and this is a replica of a 50s, let's go bone, right? So the bridge is the ABR style. I like the Nashville style better, but we're not changing that because it matches the 50s motif. It's got the thumb bleeders on the knobs and everything. So pretty much looks like a 59 Les Paul. And it's got this little plate on the back, limited edition since 1873. So how is this different than a Les Paul standard? Well, obviously no nitro finish. It's not made in the USA, so I don't have that unicorn fart fairy dust magic going for me. But it's made in China in a factory that is owned by and controlled by Gibson. So there's that. So basically, except for the race of the people making the thing, you know, it's a Gibson factory. So it's got a poly finish that's been satined so that it's supposed to look old. Does it do a good job? I don't know, I'll leave that up to you. Probably could be better. Love the poly finish on the neck because that's slippery. Doesn't have the fret nibs because they don't do nibs anywhere but in Gibson USA models. No nibs. Doesn't break my heart. Tuners are vintage style. They are not vintage Gibson or Kluson. They're just look like them. Thought about replacing them for some real Klusons. Still could happen someday. But, you know, they work perfect and they look just like them. So, I don't know. You tell me. Would that be a stupid thing to do? Maybe. So, this checks all the boxes. Now, let's get back to that black Les Paul Studio that sits in the case for the last 33 years because I'm afraid to damage it. This is phobia that goes back to my very first Gibson Les Paul. I dropped it and put a dent in this corner of the headstock. Hit my MXR Distortion Plus that I still wish I had because it was a 70s one, and that'd be worth something too, and that's a story for another day. Put a dent in it and I was traumatized. I traded that guitar, which was a Les Paul XR2, another story for another day too, for the Studio, this black shiny ebony fingerboard, gold laden pearl fingerboard bone nut beauty. Okay, because back then that's how they built them. And it sits in a case. So if I spend, I don't know, what are we up to now, like $2,700, $2,800 to get a standard, which by the way, I might not get a standard. I might get a classic because I like the open pickups on those. But I digress. If I was to spend that kind of money, I'd be afraid to play it probably too. I'm not afraid to play this. This is an $850 guitar all day long, which by the way, I did not pay $850 for. Do you want to hear the story on that? I'll make the quick version. I said this is a non-beveled pickguard, right? This came with a beveled pickguard. I was a little bit PO'd because it said non-beveled pickguard. I got a hold of them. They're like, well, we don't know what to do. You can send it back. We'll send you another one. It'll probably have the same pickguard. And I'm like, you're right. So what are you going to do for me? They're like, 10% off, $85 off. So what's that bring me up to, like $765? Yeah, $765 I paid with case. I'll show you the case coming up too. Then what did I do? I told you this is a non-beveled pickguard, didn't I? Well, I got a hold of Epiphone and said, hey, what's with sending me the 59 inspired by Custom Shop with the beveled pickguard when it says it's non-beveled? They're like, oh, we're so sorry. We'll send that right out to you. They sent it to me. I know, my middle name's going to be Karen, right? I'm pissing and mowing into these companies so I can get a discount. I'd like to speak to a manager, please. Anyhow, that's pretty much the long and the short of it. It's all Gibson electronics. Sounds great. Listen to that. Now, my buddy Ed Dana has something like this that he made. He had an Epiphone Les Paul, and it's got the guts from a Gibson Les Paul, so it's got the burst bucker and the CTS and the switchcraft and all that in it, which is cool. But this was made special this way from the factory to be like a replica. So long neck tenon, and I own some Epiphone inspired buys and some older Epiphone Les Pauls, and there's just a little more attention to detail on this. This is closer, and I don't know why, because it's the same shape and same everything, but this seems closer to the Gibsons to me. Now, another difference is with the Gibson, you'll have your 17-degree neck angle, which says break me, instead of the 11 on this, or 13 on this, sorry, 13 on this. Am I getting that mixed up with a Reaper? Maybe. This is a 13-degree headstock angle, and the it's 17 on a real Gibson. And does this have a scarf joint? You tell me. At a glance, you'd say no, you can't see one. That's because they got clever. The scarf joint goes at a diagonal up through this part of the headstock so that it doesn't show. But if you look on the side close, you can kind of see it. But looking straight on the back, you're like, oh, no scarf joint. It's just a little bit of trickery there. But trickery I like. So I love this thing, and I do play this. I play it a lot, and I'm not afraid to play it. And check with Jace Allen. That nitro finish will get sticky, especially if it's a little warm when you're playing. I like this finish better. So, yeah, I'm not just saying this is good because I've got it and I don't have the other one. If I wanted the other one, I'd go buy the goddamn thing, okay? Certainly buy enough other stuff. So, I just thought you might like to see this, and I'm curious what you get for that extra money when you get the Gibson headstock. And I will admit the Rosewood's prettier than the Indian Laurel, and I will admit that the real mother of pearl inlays are pretty, because I'm pretty sure that's what's on that 33-year-old studio of mine is real mother of pearl. They just look different. Anyways, that's it for today. You guys have a good one, and you all take care.